Before I jump into the documentation output strategy, I would like to give you an overview of the product documentations that a medical device company will likely need to consider. So imagine that we are developing our first product along a timeline. First of all, we would do a lot of R&D development, and as time goes on, hopefully it will get FDA approved and CE marked. In order to make sure the product is standardized across various users' systems, we will likely need to write documentations based on the original equipment manufacturers, OEM. And in order to ensure the reproducibility of that product, at the same time, we will likely want to run different projects to ensure the reproducibility of the first product. And with that said, we will need to produce project-specific documentations for that same product. And in a medical device company, you will likely not just have one product. For example, in Perspectum here, we have liver multi-scan, Hepatica, and cover scan. So each of these products, they will need their own different project line to run at the same time to make sure the reproducibility of each individual project. So as you can see, at the same timeline for just 3 products and 3 different projects, we will already have so many different documents to write. But the truth is, in a medical device company, you won't just have 3 projects and 3 products. So imagine the fact that if you are producing the first document with a Word document, copy and paste everything, it will likely be a very tedious task to produce even just 3 products and 3 sets of projects. So in order to make sure our documentation is sustainable and standardized along the timeline and across different projects, across different products, we will use a documentation output strategy called topic-based writing. So topic-based writing works like these. For the first project, we will produce the introduction, which is a very generic paragraph, and it's a topic basis, sort of very self-contained. It's valid on its own. And this is the same for a different product's information. It will also likely be self-contained and topic-based. Within the project, within the product information, we can have different variables to be controlled that is only showing vendor-specific information. And then lastly, we will write data export, which is also a generic topic that can be used across different projects. So because everything is self-contained and topic-based, we can easily just swap the order. We don't need to worry about rewriting everything based on the order. And we can also have changes on the product itself and decided to profile out to not show a specific vendor's information. And to do this, we use a content management system called Paligo to help us produce the documentation's output. Now I'm going to bring your attention to the content manager here. At the document here, so here in Perspectum, like I said before, we have 2 Paligo accounts, which was PDM and our imaging application MRA account. Then now everything is in one, so we have PDM's account retiring, we have all of their content back in. PDM has their own structure, and then MRA for us, we basically use manuals and the MRA documents. So it is now structured in a functional way, which is, so you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's basically give you a quick structure. So inside each folder, you will sort of have different resources. So this is created by going to the 3 dots here and then create content. And at the point of creating content, you can create different types of content. Say, for example, warning notice, important. These will have specific render box outside of the actual text. You can also add informal topic is any topic that just does not have title. And then topic is the most used one, which has a title and the content itself. I'm going to see if there is any informal topic here. See, this is informal topic, which does not have a title. But then for this one, for instance, you will likely have a title. Let's try and see a warning as an example. Yeah, so like I said, there will be a bounding box outside of the specific topic. Media, we're also organizing it into a functional way. So everything outside are sort of generic, or it doesn't really apply to any of these structure. But this is pretty much fluid. You can sort of move things around, just make sure there is proper way to navigate through to find the right images. You will have a preview tab, and then all of these these are the metadata which the UUID and UID is Paligo will use these ID and use SQL language to sort of recognize specific topic, specific element, which they can reuse. This exists in the media, so usually what you would do is just go in here. So if you double click, a file tree will be loaded, and it should bring you a widget where you can choose all the media resources. You always have a way to search for media file name. So as technical writer, try to put a lot of effort into like making the naming consistent and easy to find. But there's no set rule of what you need to do. Just find a way that's more consistent to you, and also you think that it's easy enough for other people to know. Variable set is just database spreadsheet, which we sort of control one-to-one or one-to-many relationships between small fragments of text, which I'll show you right now. If we go to scanner or project-specific info, regulatory info, we use these to sort of help us manage the differences in between different vendors. Say, for example, the Dixon is a similar acquisition technique, but then called different product name for 3 different vendors. So this is how we control how an output will look like for a specific manual. And then for project-specific info, this is for us to control different CRO projects, because sometimes they will have a specific country requirement, and they will have their own list of protocols set up. And then regulatory info. So this is PDM, you use this quite a lot. You can also add images in here, just so that you can quickly reuse everything. I'm going to quickly show you what kind of attribute that we give, say xinfo product. Yeah, so we write for Siemens, GE, and Philips. And then another important one is the version. So version basically allows us to control for phantoms. So we now have many different phantoms: Alice T1, T2, colorimetrics for QC and activation purpose, FDA phantoms, which used to be for performance testing only. Now that we also have LQ phantom for QC and site activation. But then quickly there will be a new set of phantoms for cover scan, so which we will just add and update here. Another important thing is that cardiac gated sequence and non-cardiac gated sequence is also controlled with these version attributes. One more thing that is important to show is the market. So in market, we sort of separate out for 4 different sections: clinical, public, research, and temporary not-show. So this is really just for a on-the-spot check-in. We'll do minor, quick edits. I don't suggest everybody to use it. Clinical and research are mostly used. So the distinguish between clinical and research is say, for example, in T2 star Dixon sequence is existing for every clinical collaboration, but then it doesn't exist in research, in CRO project, for instance. So that's just a use case example. However, this is sort of like fluid. You will sort of change along the way. Right. So market, product, version are the common used attribute. And whether there is a template that you can quickly just replace. We have had a test editor here, right? Let me change it to, say, for example, Siemens. And this one, let me change it to Philips. And then it's just Control C, and then come down here, Control V, change this one to GE. And then I'm going to delete this one, so product. GE apply. Philips. Okay, so I'm going to let you know another strategy is something called the branching strategy, and this is for us to control the same topic but in a slightly different version. Test acquisition instruction, and come and save. You can rename it. Right, now that we have a topic called test acquisition instruction. So at the point of creating manual, what you will do is to go to here and create a new branch. So this is not the same as, like, say, for example, in Bitbucket or GitHub, the repository itself, you sort of create branches based on the whole project. But then Paligo is treated every single element itself as if it has its own branch. So you see, now that we have a number created, the second branch, you'll be able to change this one. Say, for example, previously we haven't changed this attribute. So in this case, I can change it to Siemens, for instance. And if we click on, confirm, if we click on save, so now you can see that now in the first figure element here, we have Siemens attribute assigned to it. But if we go back to the previous branch, give it a bit of time to load, the first figure element still has only the OS attribute assigned. This is just an example of a demonstration of one way that you can just sort of quickly copy and paste from an existing topic, and then make changes based on the same set of structure. So at this stage, we have roughly 20 to 30 different layouts. This one is the mostly used layout template that we use. So inside the layout configuration editor, you will have a side panel which you sort of control whether or not you want to have a front page and different orientation of about the document. So it's basically metadata in a PDF document, if you think about it. And so one thing that we usually change is the header and footer here. Specifically, I want to point out is the issue control. What we can do is to choose a document here. So let's try and find one. Say, for example, cover scan phantom performance testing manual. You can choose a manual to preview and make minor edits and also review at the same time here. So now that we actually do have templates which has, like, say, logo and front page and the color of the text and also some legal text and like the header and the product images. These are actually controlled with the layout editor, layout configuration here. Say, for example, if you want to quickly change, you can always copy a different one, and then just come in here and then change based on the side. The way you will apply to a publication is to go in here. So we create these topics, and then at the end we want to sort of like combine them into publications. These like little suitcase or birthday cake type of thing is a publication. So if you go in here, this is called structure view, where you can sort of just drag. Say, for example, we want to quickly drag what we just created in here and then click on save. And then there will be a new structure added to these specific publication. So if at the time when we are publishing, you get to be able to set the profile and variable. Okay, I'm going to show you the one that we had previously created. So for this one, we had G. Philip Siemens, and you can edit it at any given time. And as you can see, usually we try to make sure everything has something assigned to it. Variables as well. Variables is like the spreadsheet that I just showed you guys, right? And for this one, it's a good example. So elements P, manufacturer address, physics. So this sometimes we use it, sometimes PDM use it. Phantom types we use it, but then for this is patient acquisition manual, so we don't have phantom information in this document, so we don't choose it. PDM use the regulatory info, and then project is what we control for the CRO specific projects, and then scanners, of course. Yeah, so this is how you control what to show, what to not show in the final layout document. So use layout editor to review everything. Yeah, you can quickly flip through everything with the preview. Okay, so that's layout and publishing.